I have a terrible facial hair problem.
While the professors in Harry Potter may have a wand up there, you know what, the actors themselves love pulling pranks and laughing on set.
I remember when it was called a one broomstick. Whoop.
Number 1. Disrespecting Professor Umbridge is something we can get behind. While we can't tell you why this deleted scene of Professor Trelawney exists, we are just so glad that it does. The theory is they were just doing a long pan shot of all the professors and Emma Thompson was improvising. And being so ridiculous, they paused and focused on her.
Who practices that ought to be prohibited?
Seriously, we could just sit here and watch this for another minute or two, maybe an hour. Or how about the entirety of Harry Potter told through Professor Trelawney's eyes?
Thank you, Professor Umbridge. That really was most illuminating.
Number 2. The internet will never let Daniel Radcliffe forget this one. Michael Gambon and Alan Rickman pulled the best prank on Dan.
Really, really funny.
And for you?
While he's supposed to be silently sleeping in a room full of other young wizards, the mayhem began.
In our dreams, we enter completely our own world.
The best part was,
Dan has asked to have his sleeping bag next to this particular girl that he fancied.
it was Alan Rickman who planted the fart machine.
And we like to swim in the deepest waters.
But it was Michael who was pressing the button. Michael and Alan were good buddies on set. Michael was always making Alan laugh, and they were lucky if they got a take where he didn't crack.
So you are CE.
Number 3. We would take Maggie Smith as our dance partner any day of the week.
This leg moves fast.
Maggie, in character, teaching Rupert Grint to dance while she's hanging out in her robe is just hilarious.
Put your right hand on my waist.
It's probably good we've got visuals to describe the scene, otherwise you might have thought something else.
No, you will have to lead eventually.
Her metaphors are the perfect cocktail of elegance and quirkiness.
Inside every boy, a lordly lion prepared to prance.
And Rupert Grint was just a wee bit embarrassed of the whole situation, telling onlookers that no one is to breathe a word about the moment.
Never gonna let him forget this, are you?
Never.
Number 4. Magic meets technology. Alan Rickman whacked his hand off the camera and only had this anticlimactic thing to say. And yet, it's still hilarious. He's not one to break character too much unless Michael Gambon's around, but odds are this footage wasn't salvageable anyways. Number 5. 1,000 takes would make for a long day. Robbie Coltrane's responses to literally everything are just hilarious.
Ding dong.
1,000, take 1.
Was that 1,000? Way!
Robbie, we're not sure 1,000 takes is necessarily a good thing.
We do our best to do it.
Number 6. If only Ron were as talented with a wand as he is with a quill. Rupert Grint was caught doodling a nasty image of Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman was standing right behind me and I was so scared.
Life imitates art sometimes. If you're playing the quote-unquote evil dark arts teacher, you should just expect some sassy students.
The picture wasn't nice either. It was, I think I exaggerated a few of his features.
Well, Alan Rickman, like the true gentleman he is, kept Rupert's art.
I made him sign it, and I have it in my possession. And I'm very fond of it.
Number 7. Now, for the hero of our generation. When Filch's cat is petrified, in the movie, Kenneth Branagh's character said,
"Ah, thought so. So unlucky I wasn't there. I know exactly the counter-curse that could have spared her."
But we found another improvised take.
It was definitely a curse that killed her. Probably the transmogrifian torture. Encountered it myself once in Ouagadougou.
Number 8. Poor Richard was too gentle for this world. Richard Harris thought the animatronic of Fox the Phoenix was real, and so when no one else was in the room, he was interacting with the bird. And the sneaky tech people were puppeting said animatronic from outside of the room to let him believe in the magic. Nobody ever told him the bird was fake, and we think it's just better that way.
Pretty good, huh?
Number 9. Children are a nuisance. While Professor McGonagall would never threaten to hurt a student,
We never use transfiguration as a punishment.
Maggie Smith might not be so strict with herself. Like, how about this moment? She pretends she's going to thump one of the kids with a scroll. Yes, yes, we know, it's all teasing. Number 10. Robbie Coltrane goofing about in the motorcycle makes everyone on set burst out into giggles, including Dan. This lovable goof can probably make even the grumpiest of people laugh on a bad day. Number 11. Our least favorite professor is full of personality. While Professor Umbridge is evil in the movie, behind the scenes Imelda Staunton and McGonagall were best buds. Imelda sings,
Oh, disloyalty. Yes.
and she blah blah blahs about.
Blah, 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 blah. Disloyalty. Oh.
Number 12. We still find it hard to believe Hogwarts hosts a rave. Did you know Professor Flitwick crowd surfing at the Yule Ball was only meant to be a joke? It's true.
I said, wouldn't it be funny if Flitwick did a stage dive?
The director went away for the weekend and Warwick Davis couldn't believe his ears.
He said, we're going to do that. And I said, I was only joking.
Here's hoping he enjoyed himself and maybe ticked something off the bucket list. Number 13. Never let go, Filch.
Take your hands off me, you filthy squib!
David Bradley wasn't meant to hang on to Tom Felton forever, but he just wasn't ready to let go, even while the cameras weren't rolling. But hey, maybe he had a perfect grip and just didn't want to lose it. Number 14. What is it with Harry Potter and gas?
He was a little boy, obviously, in the first one, and he said he was really traumatized by her.
Miriam Margolyes hasn't bothered to watch most of the Harry Potter movies.
Well, I've only been to the ones I'm in, and I fall asleep.
If you remember Professor Sprout with the screaming plants, she's not happy about her time on Harry Potter. Or rather, not happy she wasn't in all of them.
That was a grave oversight, and I'm holding you responsible.
Miriam traumatized Daniel Radcliffe when he was a wee boy. She's quite the character, which you'd know if you've ever seen her on a talk show. Age is but a number, and she's hilarious.
I've been told there was a swear jar involved on set.
Well, a young Dan didn't appreciate her behavior with the cursing.
I was probably careful when it was you, but when, with the other kids, I didn't bother.
That wasn't the worst part, though. It was the farting that really got to him.
I'm very proud of it.
Number 15. It doesn't take Michael Gambon a transformation spell to alter his performance. Michael's a bit of a goofball.
When we do the scene now again in a minute, I should change my...
This cracks up Radcliffe.
In a completely different way.
Michael, we applaud your nuance. The cast of Harry Potter still leaves us laughing, even all these years later. Do you ever wish you could go back in time and experience it again for the first time? Let us know in the comments, and thanks for hanging out with us here at The Things.